They're pitching tents and basic shelters. It's the latest phase in a life of instability for Malian refugees in Niger. The threat of violence has forced them to move far from home for the third time in 5 years. This new group has just arrived in the Intercan camp in northern Niger.
We've been driven by war from Mali to Tazalit camp. We enjoyed security there for some time, but then fighting broke out there as well and we fled again.
The war in northern Mali has driven 60,000 civilians, most of them Tuareg and Arabs, into Niger. But even there, they are not safe. In the last 2 years, refugee camps near the border have come under fire. Last year, an armed group attacked the army unit guarding the Tazalit camp, where these people came from. Many refugees were caught in the crossfire. The conflict they thought they'd left behind in Mali had followed them. A few days after their arrival here, a major attack by an armed group killed 15 soldiers near the border where they'd been living.
There was a protection force guarding the Tazalit camp. It was attacked by a terrorist group. Since then, we decided to relocate the refugees to safer areas. So we moved them to Intercan for their own safety.
Here in Intercan, refugee agencies are overwhelmed. With 20,000 refugees already in shelters and little money to help sustain them, the new arrivals are having to fend for themselves. They are being registered by the UN in order to be integrated here when funding allows. But for now, their windswept desert life is harsher than ever. Dealing with the elements is the least of their problems. Finding enough to eat and a school for their children will be harder. As the conflict in Mali continues, these people simply don't know when, if ever, they'll be able to go home. Mohamed, Vall, Al Jazeera.